Is it safe to say these relationships are doomed? You let me know after we read these stories. First up, my husband is considering conceiving a child with his ex. This story came July 18th, 2022. My husband and I have been happily married for 3 years now. My husband had a son from a previous relationship before we got together. I have been in my stepson's life since he was 2 years old. He turned 6 years old this year, and we have gotten along very well. My stepson's bio mom and I have never been friends in any capacity, but have always been cordial and respectful on the rare times that we interacted and never had any issue with one another. My husband and bio mom are similarly cordial and respectful and communicative around the son's needs, but not really friends beyond that. We pretty much adhered to a parallel parenting style and it worked fine. 4 weeks ago, my stepson tragically and very suddenly passed from an infection. Oh my gosh. That's really, really sad. That's devastating. How does that just happen? What a cruel life this is sometimes. It has been absolutely devastating for everyone. Bio mom is especially just wrecked. Her son was literally her entire life and purpose and a stay-at-home single mom. My grief cannot compare to the level I know she feels, and I do have compassion for that. My husband is, of course, also exceptionally distraught. I have been doing my best to be understanding in how they both need to grieve as parents. 2 days ago, my husband said he had something he needed to discuss with me. He explained that bio mom approached him with a request. She asked my husband to be her sperm donor for IUI/IVF as she desperately wants to be a mom again and wants to conceive a child with the same partner that her son had. Oh, my heart. She's so heartbroken. He basically made it clear that it is something he is willing and even wanting to do, but knows that he needs to understand how I feel about it. Well, I don't know how exactly to communicate what I feel about it at this point, but the feelings are not good ones. I told him I needed some time to process this. My husband and I have been trying to have a child of our own for the past few months, so this is even more personally difficult for me to take in. I think I already know that I am not okay with my husband having another child with his ex, but I am thinking of suggesting that we offer her financial support to seek out alternative fertility options that do not involve my husband's injection and quite honestly do not involve 18 years of co-parenting. I'm actually not even sure what bio mom and my husband are thinking regarding that in this scenario. Additionally, bio mom is 41 years old, so there is a high probability this whole situation would be a lot of money and time spent without any results. Overall, I think I'm just in shock here. I feel disrespected and angry, but I also understand it's not really just about me here, and that both of them are struggling to cope with this unimaginable grief. I would just appreciate some level of advice from people outside the situation, specifically advice on how I should convey that I am not on board with this without making it a point of contention. Edit. I would also like to add that I am fortunate to be financially stable independently, and my husband and I already set aside a fairly significant sum specifically for child support. So even had this specific scenario not risen, I feel obligated to offer some, if not all of that, to bio mom, since it was always intended to go to her and her son. Listen, there's a lot in this situation. It's a very serious situation. I just respect the understanding and compassion she has for bio mom and the grief and the loss that she's going through. At this point, I plan to speak with my husband this evening about feeling that it is inappropriate to consider this now and dealing with his grief first and foremost with professional help. We have some updates, but you guys, especially parents out there, what would your advice be to her in this situation? The first update came the next day. I went ahead and took action on something I could control, and I reached out to my therapist and I got a reference for a couples counselor who is specifically experienced in dealing with grief around child loss. I was thankfully able to get us fit in for an appointment this week. After I returned home from work last night, my husband came into our room and immediately started sobbing and apologizing. He had spoken with his dad that day and told him what Biomom had proposed. My father-in-law, bless him, had apparently really gone off on the delusion of that. My husband and I had a very long early morning talk about it, and he was able to recognize and explained that what seemed like interest in Biomom's request was just misplaced desires. He explained that he's been so focused and excited about the prospect of planning for a child with me for the last 4 months and envisioning life as a father of 2, and it felt confusing to still be feeling that while dealing with the devastation of losing his son. Biomom's request was a total shock for him too, and when you're face to face with someone grieving so deeply, asking for your help or a solution, however absurd it is, it's not always as easy to think logically. He was receptive and seemed relieved to have the therapy appointment, so I am hopeful that will be a start in unpacking these complicated and conflicting feelings. We agreed that he should ultimately end all contact with Biomom, but will still consider what sort of short-term lump sum financial support makes sense with consultation from a lawyer to keep it entirely copacetic. Oh God, cutting off all contact with her? I don't think that's gonna help during this time. Oh no. I realize some commenters find the financial part odd, but I just feel strongly about extending appropriate generosity in this transition since we have the means to do so. We also agreed to hold off on any child planning until sufficient time and counseling takes place. Also, I just want to address the comments on the stay-at-home single mom aspect in defense of Biomom. I only mentioned that part to say how entirely devoted she was to her son. This is so... Look at her coming to her defense. She was the primary physical caregiver, and yes, the child support order was enough that it allowed her the option to stay home full time and live comfortably, but not extravagantly. Is it the same decision I would make as a career-minded person? No, but that was her prerogative, and I do respect that. I really don't know much about Biomom as a person, but what I do know is that she was raising a kind, funny, and smart boy who was loved and cared for, and that was what ultimately mattered. To say there's a lot still up in the air emotionally is an understatement. My husband and I are saying the right things to each other now. Who knows what it will end up being in practice. But I am hopeful at this point that my husband and I will be able to move forward together. However, there's another update. This update came 4 months later, November 14th, 2022. So I found out that my husband did not tell me the truth about Biomom's request. The truth being that he and Biomom had frozen embryos when they were together from years ago, and she was planning to use those. I obviously had no idea they had done this and likely would have never known it, not for the fact that Biomom did have a successful implantation and is now in her first trimester. So my husband was forced to come clean. What? The distress I feel about everything that has happened in the past 4 months is beyond words. So that's it. That's the update. I don't know what to do regarding so many things about this. At least I have a good therapist. Okay then, I guess all the advice we were offering doesn't really matter now. I don't know what. I can't even pretend to know what I would do in that situation, so I'm not going to. That is out of my expertise. I have no business even commenting on it, to be honest. Next story. My fiance threatened to break up with me if I told her best friend's husband that his wife is cheating on him. This story came November 10th. 2021. I, male 27, have been together with my fiance, male 28, for 12 years, out of which 3 years we've been engaged. I love her a lot and everything between us has been great. We do encounter problems now and then, but every single long-term couple does, to be fair. The problem we are having right now is not so much to do with us directly, but to do with my fiance's best friend. I will call her Beth in this post. Yesterday, while going to work, I stopped at a bakery to get some breakfast. Right across the street, I saw Beth with a guy. First, they were just talking and I didn't think much of it. And honestly, I was busy getting my sandwich. I read that so weird. I really want a sandwich now. I don't have stuff. Do I go out and get a sandwich for lunch after this?
My sandwich.
Anyways, I turned around and they were kissing. I got my phone and I took a photo. Not the most ethical thing to do, but I thought the husband might need it. I got home and I told my fiance about it and also shared the photo with her. She told me to delete the photo and just ignore it. I wasn't comfortable with this and I told her that instead, I would tell the best friend's husband because if it was me in that position, I would like to know too. Her concern with this was that it would really damage her friendship with Beth, and that is why I should stay out of it. I disagreed, and she told me that if Beth's husband found this out from me, I should consider our relationship over. Later that day, my fiance apologized to me that she didn't mean the breaking up part, but I really shouldn't do this, even though that would be the right thing to do. I was still a little pissed that she would just throw away a 12-year relationship just to hide someone else's cheating, so I told her that I would tell the husband everything, and if she wants to break up over this, I'm fine with that. Essentially, you are calling her bluff. Definitely did not mean the I'm fine with that part, but I probably just said it out of pettiness and spite. I haven't told the husband yet, but all of this has me questioning my fiance's moral values and how she thinks infidelity is okay. It's kind of messed up. It's 8 a.m. right now where I live and I haven't slept all night thinking about my relationship. So she did kind of double down on the breaking up part at the end if I did proceed to tell Beth's husband. So I'm very conflicted right now. How do you guys see this situation? Should I tell him knowing that it might end my relationship? Edit. Just to clear my stance, the husband will find out about this or directly from me or Beth. I completely understand that other people's relationship is not my business and I should keep out of it, but there is one more relationship here, me and Beth's husband. We might not be close friends, but we are friends nonetheless, so I owe him this much. My fiance's moral compass is screwed up and we need to talk about it, and we will, because this marriage won't work out otherwise. If this ends my relationship, then it really wasn't as strong as I thought it was, and that sucks. I have the photo saved in a safe place and Beth's face is clear in it, so I doubt the husband will have trouble believing that his wife is cheating. I plan on talking to Beth too and telling her to come clean and do it the right way because her secret is getting out one way or another. Definitely not having double dates with her anymore. All right, interesting. What are you guys doing? You catch your husband or wife's best friend cheating and they threaten to end the relationship if you tell. Are you telling or are you staying out of it? Anyways, we have an update, so let's find out what he in fact did because I want to know. The update came almost 2 months later, December 30th. I told the husband. At first, I thought of doing it anonymously, but then I just went ahead and I told him over the phone. He has filed for divorce and his wife left. The last time I talked to him, he said that Beth won't fight over the house, their joint property, and had decided to leave. He told me that even if she comes after the house, his lawyer is confident she won't get it because of the infidelity laws where I live. This all happened weeks ago and he is finally doing better now. As for my fiance, she wasn't happy about this. I dumped her 2 days ago because she was giving me a lot of crap about how I broke her friend's home. No, your friend broke her own home. But sure, I didn't do that. She did that to herself. We are currently talking about our living arrangements and it'll most likely be her who moves out. I don't know, man. I love my friends, but like, girl, you can't expect like my marriage to fall apart because you're out cheating in yours. I would have a real hard time. You know what? I would probably go to my friend. I really would. I'd say, hey girl, so my man caught you. What are you doing? Caught you cheating. You need to come clean to your husband. This ain't right. I don't want to get involved. I don't want it to affect our friendship. I don't want my husband to get involved, but this is not right. All aboard. It is Hydration Station. Drink your water. Drink whatever you want, truthfully, but I will encourage you to take a sip of water today because we need it. Cheers. Hope you're having a great day. Yes, if you haven't noticed, 2 of my nails, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Anyways, this hand, thriving. Good thing I'm a lefty. And yes, we are still ignoring the neck burn. The blister kind of just peeled off on its own. I've been putting bio oil on it to help with the healing and the hopefully no scarring. Lila would like to show you guys some of her favorite toys. Her number one favorite, she is a coffee girl. This is her absolute favorite toy of all time. But she can't have coffee without Timbits. Very Canadian of us. Fun fact, she loves Timbits. The old-fashioned plain is all she can have, and she does love a little nibble. You look miserable. And then this is her baby. She loves this little random Frankenstein. And then this one. She loves her rubber duck, but it's actually under the couch, and I just haven't gone to dig it out yet. But she loves rubber ducks. Yeah, big fan. Right? Say yeah. Oh. Yep. Yep. She's like, get that camera out of my face. Oh, you're crazy. I told you guys, she's nuts all the time. Turns out she just wanted to play. Oh, I want your coffee. I need a sip of coffee. Give me that sip of coffee. Next story. I caught my boyfriend on Tinder. He swears it's not true. I'm going to lose my mind. Just like I would. This story came August 27th, 2018. My friend came to me yesterday at lunch with screenshots of my boyfriend's Tinder profile. The pictures were all old photos, so I confronted him immediately, expecting to hear something like, yeah, haha, I forgot to delete that, which is cool. He denied being on Tinder at all, and my friend suggested that she make an account, set it to his specifications, and see if he turns up. And there's his profile. So this means that my boyfriend has been active on Tinder within the past 2 weeks. I confronted him with this and he changed his story. Now he's saying that his friend has been using his account. He shows me his phone and says, look, I have nothing to hide. And of course, the app is deleted. Riveting. So I take his phone, download Tinder, log in with his Facebook, and see that he has been active. Infrequently. There was one girl that he tried to meet up with back in May when I was out of town. The girl gave him her phone number, and even though he deleted whatever messages they exchanged, I still saw that he had her saved in his contacts. So that's about everything that I know. He either cheated on me or planned on cheating on me while I went out of town, and I'm sure this isn't the only time it has happened. This relationship is pretty much over. He is swearing up and down that it's not true. He doesn't use Tinder and he doesn't know this girl. I'm going crazy with how much he's outright lying. He seems so sincere, but I know what I saw. I can't listen to him deny this one more time. I know that this is the end. I guess I'm looking for advice on how to end it in a way that doesn't leave me second guessing myself and some moral support. Edit. So I did some stuff that was kind of petty and stupid today. All right, we all have those days, right? I do stupid things almost every day. I made a fake Tinder account, matched with my boyfriend, and he starts messaging me. And immediately asks me to meet for a drink. We agreed to meet by a fountain in the center of my town, and I packed up all his stuff in a tote bag, put on a great outfit, and went to the fountain. You go get that Lizzie McGuire moment. You stand by that fountain looking beautiful as ever. I stood kind of out of the way of the fountain in the shadows where I could watch the street that I knew he would be arriving on. I was devastated, but I figured this way I could catch him without a doubt and end things quickly. All the time he's messaging this girl on Tinder, but he didn't show up. I might be eating my own words. 2 of his roommates did. We didn't speak. I don't know them well, but they watched me for a while, figured out what was going on after a few more Tinder messages, and left quickly. So I wait a few minutes and I call my boyfriend and I ask him where he's at. He says he has just gotten off work and he's going to meet his roommate for a drink. I confront him with a fake Tinder profile and he is dumbstruck and furious with his roommate, who he swears up and down is behind all of this. I don't know. I'm at home now, just emotionally exhausted and confused. Whatever is going on with his roommate is super sketchy and creepy. Advice, please. Oh, I don't know what to believe yet. My advice was you looking hot at the fountain and that didn't work out, so don't listen to me. Edit number 2. A few things that I think are important. Up until this point, my boyfriend and I had a great relationship. Really, No red flags anywhere. If I had already been suspicious that he was cheating, this would be a much easier break for me. Next, the most recent message on his Tinder account when I checked it yesterday was sent to a girl he had matched with before we met. It said, "Would you like to meet up with my friend?" Next, my boyfriend is the kind of person whose iPhone passcode is 0000. I wouldn't be surprised if his roommates did know all of his passwords. So his Tinder account is still matched with my fake profile. To me, that indicates that he probably isn't the person operating the Tinder profile. If it were him, wouldn't he have blocked the fake profile immediately? A lot of people have said that he probably sent his roommates to check things out for him. I can't write that off entirely, but my gut says that it isn't true. But why are his roommates going? If someone messaged like, "Hey, let's meet up," like, why are two people showing up to meet this girl? That's weird in itself. I just don't think it's very likely. When it comes to his roommates, I'm very concerned that they've been using his profile to trick women into meeting with them. The fact that his profile hasn't been deleted makes me worried that my boyfriend is in on this. So that's about where I'm at right now. I'm worried that all of them are working together to, at best, scam women, at worst, assault them, and my boyfriend is at least passively involved. Either way, I feel some responsibility to do a little more digging. I have no idea what to think. So let's just see what happens, because my mind is spiraling too of like what all the different ways this could be the truth. Yeah. The next update came 3 days later, August 30th. It got weirder. The girl whose phone number was in my boyfriend's phone was from Brazil, so I wasn't sure about calling or texting the number, but I did find her Facebook by searching for that phone number. I messaged her and I asked about my boyfriend. She confirmed that she had matched with him on Tinder and they exchanged phone numbers. The phone number she has is my boyfriend's correct phone number, but she never met up with him because when they exchanged more selfies, the man in the photos was clearly not my boyfriend. What is going on? I don't like this. Sketchy, creepy. I met with my boyfriend and laid out everything for him. I showed him the fake profile, the messages I had exchanged with the Brazilian girl, told him about his roommates coming to the fountain the other night, and I told him that if he was honest with me about what was going on, we could work through things, but that if he kept lying, we were finished. I told him he needed to get real honest about what's going on between him, his roommates, and this Tinder account. Here's what happened, and I believe this all to be true. All right, let's see if we do. When my boyfriend upgraded his phone, he gave his old one to his roommate, and when he reset it, he let his roommate connect to his Apple ID. So my boyfriend had shared his Apple ID password with him, and they've been sharing an account. His roommate, for reasons we don't totally understand, managed to get in on his Tinder profile and started using it as his own. He said he thought he looked enough like the pictures that he could get away with it. They're both of the same ethnicity, but my boyfriend is way hotter, so I'm not sure how his roommate thought that would work. When his roommate can't pay his own phone bill, my boyfriend will often lend him his phone or switch SIM cards for a while. I know this sounds strange, but I know for a fact that it is true. When I was out of town in May, my boyfriend's roommate matched with this Tinder girl, got her phone number, but couldn't text her because he hadn't paid his own bill. So he would contact her on Tinder through Wi-Fi, but not send texts. Since I was out of town anyway, and I was the only person my boyfriend needed to contact, he agreed to let his roommate use his phone to talk to this girl, but didn't know at that point that his roommate was catfishing this girl with his old pictures. Both roommates showed up to meet the fake Tinder girl because I had told them on the fake account that the girl had a roommate. Okay, well you shouldn't have left that out, girl, because here I was judging them for being weird, thinking they just showed up together. Their plan was to meet with this girl and convince her to bring her roommate out as well for his friend. Not a great idea, kind of weird, but okay. My boyfriend, of course, was furious with his roommates and made sure that the account was permanently deleted. This has been the craziest, most exhausting week of my life. I believe that this is how everything happened. My boyfriend and I are working on repairing the relationship. I mean, question is, do you guys believe that or not? It actually does seem like a believable story. But can the Brazilian I want to know what picture was sent when they exchanged selfies. Was it the roommate or did the roommate use someone else's pictures? Like not the boyfriend. It is believable. I was really hoping that it wasn't believable, but it is believable, right? I kind of believe it. Maybe I'm naive. Who knows? Who cares? Not my life. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy and let me know what you think. Bye.